Some athletes will do anything to win, from the immoral to the downright illegal. Dwight Howard. In 2016, Dwight Howard was playing in the NBA. One day, his team, the Houston Rockets, were playing against the Atlanta Hawks. During the game, officials noticed something weird. The ball was coated in a sticky substance. Right after Dwight had touched it, officials went over to the team bench, where they made a shocking discovery. A can of Stickum spray had been hidden behind the bench. Stickum being a spray-on adhesive. Many players use Stickum in training, as it gives you a much better grip on the ball, but using it in games is strictly prohibited. But officials weren't sure which player had been using the Stickum. As a result, both teams were warned, and the game continued as normal. However, after the game, Dwight Howard confirmed to the Houston Chronicle it was him who had used the Stickum, even saying that he had used Stickum in every game he played in. Despite this admission, he was never banned from any games or even fined, despite literally admitting to breaking the rules. They say cheaters never prosper, but I guess in Dwight Howard's case, they do. Tonya Harding. In 1994, one of the biggest sporting scandals of all time would take place. One day before the US Figure Skating Championships, title holder Nancy Kerrigan was doing one final practice before the big event. She was filmed walking off the ice to her changing room, but seconds later, she was on the floor screaming in pain. A man with a police baton had attacked her. This left Nancy's thigh badly injured, meaning that she was unable to compete, leading to her longtime rival Tonya Harding taking first place, winning the US Figure Skating Championships. However, police soon learned something very dark. The attack on Nancy had been ordered by a bounty hunter. Shockingly, Tonya Harding's ex-husband, Jeff Gillooly, and her bodyguard Sean Eckhart were found to be responsible. They had hired the bounty hunter to break Nancy's leg, ensuring that she couldn't compete, allowing Tonya to take first place with no competition. Initially, Tonya said she had nothing to do with the plan, but later admitted she knew all about it. Jeff and Sean were sentenced to 2 years in prison and had to pay a $100,000 fine. As for Tonya, she was sentenced to 3 years of probation and a $160,000 fine. All of her titles were taken away, and she was banned from skating for life, while Nancy Kerrigan recovered and went on to win many awards, meaning in this case, karma delivered the perfect justice. Romano Fenati. In 2018, motorcyclist Romano Fenati shocked the world. He was competing in the San Marino Moto2. Romano was leading in first place, but that's when he was overtaken by Stefano Manzi. In response to this, Romano did one of the most shocking and dangerous things ever seen in the sport. Romano leaned over and pulled the brake of Stefano's bike, doing so at a speed of 140 miles per hour. This could have easily caused Stefano to crash and lose his life. Romano's insane scheme was caught on camera, leading to him being immediately disqualified. His racing license was soon revoked, and he was rightfully banned from the sport. Italy even considered putting him on trial for attempted murder. Romano later apologized, but fans did not forgive him, as he was a known cheater in the sport. During other races, he had been seen kicking people's bikes, and even turning off other people's engines at the starting line. So it's safe to say Romano's ban was long overdue. Brian Carrasco. Soccer or football players are known for their theatrics, but in 2011, Brian Carrasco took this to a whole other level. He was playing for Chile against Ecuador during the South American Under-20s World Cup qualifier. The match was about to be over, and Chile was losing to Ecuador 1-0. So Brian Carrasco decided to play dirty, grabbing the hand of Ecuadorian player Edson Montaño, pulling it into his own face, before rolling around on the floor crying in pain. All the referee saw was Brian on the floor in pain, and so gave Chile a free kick. Brian's plan had worked, but unfortunately for him, the camera had been directly on him the entire time, with the commentators replaying this and calling him out. Espectacular! Chile went on to miss the unfair free kick, meaning that Brian's cheating was all in vain, and all he got out of it was a lot of mockery. Sal Alosi. The NFL has seen its fair share of cheating, but sometimes the worst cheats aren't even the players themselves. In 2010, the New York Jets were playing the Miami Dolphins. During the game, Dolphins player Nolan Carroll was running down the sideline when he was tripped by the Jets strength coach Sal Alosi. Sal could be seen blatantly sticking his foot out to trip Nolan. Thankfully, Nolan was uninjured and kept on playing, but many viewers noticed Sal's dirty trick.
Watch the knee here being stuck out on purpose to trip up Nolan Carroll. Not sure who that person is, but they should be ashamed of themselves. for that type of action. That has no place in any athletic event.
The next day, Sal apologized for what he did. The NFL gave Sal a $25,000 fine and was suspended without pay for the rest of the season, and hasn't worked for the NFL since. I guess that trip was one really bad career move for Sal. Femke van den Driesche. Femke van den Driesche was a Belgian champion cyclist, but in 2016 her career came crashing down after it was found she had heavily modified her bike to cheat. She had been competing in the Cyclocross Championships when she suddenly stopped, saying that she had a problem with her bike. But when officials got close, they noticed wires coming from her bike's seat, which led to a small motor. The motor could be turned on and off using a Bluetooth button on the handlebars. The motor allowed Femke to easily overtake other riders. Femke later said the bike belonged to her friend, and she had no idea about the motor inside. Unsurprisingly, people did not believe this. She was banned from the sport for 6 months, handed a $20,000 fine, and had all of her previous titles removed. I think she should have spent less time on engineering and more time on training. Rosie Ruiz. In 1980, Rosie Ruiz became an overnight sensation, winning the Boston Marathon, achieving the 3rd fastest time of any woman ever. But before long, people began to get suspicious. Rosie had supposedly ran over 26 miles on a hot 70-degree day, but at the finish line she didn't seem tired at all. After a few days, people came forward, saying they'd seen Rosie join the race less than a mile from the finish line.
Probably about a half mile from the finish. She was in track clothes and wearing a number, but I thought someone had just sort of stumbled into the race. Maybe somebody was a little crazy or something.
It was later found Rosie had also cheated in the New York Marathon 6 months earlier, taking the subway to the finish line. Rosie denied cheating in both marathons, but with all the evidence, she was stripped of her wins. Renault Formula One team. During the 2008 Grand Prix, Renault racer Nelson Piquet Jr. crashed. Thankfully, he was unharmed, but a safety car was deployed, blocking all of the racers behind. This gave Nelson's teammate Fernando Alonso a big advantage, allowing Fernando to win the race for Renault. It seemed like it was just luck, but the truth was exposed in 2009. Nelson was kicked from Renault's Formula One team. Nelson was angry about this, so decided to expose the truth, saying that he had been ordered to crash on purpose back in 2008. He had been told to do this by Renault's managing director Flavio Briatore and director of engineering Pat Simmons. They ensured Fernando would win the race for the team by sacrificing Nelson in a dangerous way, threatening to fire Nelson if he didn't crash. They told Nelson exactly where to crash, at a point where there was no crane to remove the car, meaning a safety car would have to be deployed, blocking all of the other racers behind. After this was exposed, Renault admitted what they'd done, apologizing for cheating. Flavio and Pat were banned from Formula One, but the ban was overturned 4 years later. However, their reputations never recovered. Marwin Hitz. In 2015, Marwin Hitz was playing as goalkeeper for Augsburg FC when a penalty was given to Cole player Anthony Modeste. But before Anthony took the penalty, Marwin messed up the grass in front of the penalty spot, tearing up the pitch to make it harder for Anthony. And sure enough, Marwin's plan worked, with Anthony slipping on the messed up turf. Marwin's trick was soon spotted by the video referee. At first, he denied it, but later took to Twitter to apologize. Marwin was given a €122 fine to repair the pitch, but seeing as Marwin made €1 million that year, I'm sure he didn't mind. Vincenzo Nibali. In 2015, Vincenzo Nibali was racing in the Vuelta a España. He had crashed, causing him to fall well behind in the race, but he had a change of luck when he was approached by a team car. The team car gave Vincenzo a drink. This is allowed, but instead of simply taking the bottle, Vincenzo got sticky fingers, holding onto the bottle for quite a long time. This caused the team car to pull Vincenzo along, giving him a very unfair boost. Many cyclists do this subtly, but Vincenzo took it way too far, and as a result was disqualified. Vincenzo and the team car's driver were given a €200 fine, with many saying the punishment was way too light. Antonio Margarito. In 2008, Mexican-American boxer Antonio Margarito would face off against Puerto Rican boxer Miguel Cotto. They were competing for the WBA welterweight title. During the fight, Antonio annihilated Miguel, winning the title with flying colors. But a year later, the dark truth about the match would be revealed. Antonio Antonio's trainer Javier Capetillo had put cement inside Antonio's gloves. This made Antonio's punches much more dangerous, essentially turning his gloves into weapons. When this was found out, it rocked the boxing world. As a result, Antonio was suspended, and his trainer was banned for life, and the match has gone down as one of the biggest scandals in boxing history. Comment below which of these cheaters was the worst. Subscribe if you haven't yet, and watch this video next.